Welcome back to my channel. My name is Laurel Webb, a writer in progress, and today I am vlogging. About a year ago, I started writing a dark fantasy novel. I believe I started the fantasy novel in February, January, maybe in March, I'm not sure. The point is, about a year ago, I started writing a dark fantasy novel. I finished it up in July or possibly August. I also don't remember that exactly. And I have just been letting it sit for the past 6-ish months. Well, Flash Fiction February is over, and it's time to edit the first draft of that dark fantasy, which I am affectionately referring to as The Unburned Bones. Some little disclaimers here I think are in order. First off, I have never really edited much of anything. I mean, I've gone in and changed a couple things in like Flash Fiction and stuff like that, but like all of the novels I've written, I've gotten the first draft and then left it at that and have not come back to it. So this is a big first for me. Second, I wrote this novel as a discovery writer. I did not write an outline. I had a couple ideas in mind of where I thought it was going to go, and it went to some of those places, and it veered off course completely in other ways. So I'm going to be looking at this basically as a developmental editor. Like, there are going to be entire plot points that I cut out, and there are some huge gaping holes that I'm going to need to fill with something else. So here's the plan. I've got a very crazy, messy monster of a first draft that is going in every direction. The characters often don't really make sense. I've got characters that pop up randomly at the end and were never introduced earlier. I've got characters that disappear after the first 5,000 words and never turn up a second time. I've got a lot of things that I know need fixing. And I've got a plan. I'm going to do a reverse outline, kind of the way Dean Wesley Smith talks about, though my understanding is that he really does the reverse outline as he's writing, and he sticks with the general direction that his story takes without rearranging things. Well, I'm throwing that out the window. I'm going to do a reverse outline so I can figure out what parts of this story are salvageable, what parts I can easily just get rid of, and what I really need to add in. And I'm going to be using the Dan Harmon Story Circle as a guideline for where I need to go and what I need to be focusing on. I'll also be thinking in terms of the mice quotient. In case you aren't familiar, that's the idea that there are 4 basic story types. So it can be a story about place, it can be a story about a question being answered, it can be a story about a character developing and becoming a new, better person, or it can be a story about adventures and interesting events that happen. But as you open up each of these types of stories, then you need to think in terms of how you're going to close down each of those story threads by the end of the book. I'm going to take a look at this. I'm going to fill out my story circle, and I'm going to take some notes on what my mice quotients are, figure out how to nest my mice. Just to be clear, I don't have any actual living mice that I'm dealing with. But first, I actually have lessons to teach, so I better get to that instead of talking to you. Hopefully you can hear me over my very noisy dishwasher, which is running right now. Anyway, it's time to get to editing. I've got my story circle thing up, and just looking at it, I got a little overwhelmed, so I think I'm going to wait. I'm going to put off the computer editing for a little bit so that I can do some more brainstorming, you know, analog editing. Sometimes my thoughts work a little better when I actually handwrite whatever I'm editing. So that's what I'm going to try first. Yep, this blanket is full of holes because a certain fat cat likes to eat blankets. And then there's a certain fluffy cat who thinks that he is all sorts of innocent. He is not. Do not be fooled by him. His other name is Sir Pukes-a-Lot. One fat naughty cat, one fluffy naughty cat. Who am I kidding? I love them both. Here I go. From done yet, but I now have a rough sketch of what I want to happen in the story. Currently it's not that far off from what is actually written, but I know that as I kind of zoom in or get in closer, that's when I'm going to start having issues with characters that only show up for half of the book and then disappear for no explained reason and stuff like that. But I've made a start. Sometimes I find that it's really helpful for me to just brain dump and get my ideas out. So of course Elliot needs to be a part of the conversation. I really needed to kind of refresh my memory on all of the story circle things and the hero's journey. My brain was just kind of blocked as far as that. So I've got the all of the steps, kind of overview of the things that I think are important as far as the hero's journey and the story circle go. And then here I was taking a look at the way the two halves of the circle kind of compare. The first segment, the you part, for a really effective story, I think, should correlate with the find, and the need relates to the take. Go and return, well, those are obvious partners. And then the seek and change. So this was just me brain dumping and remembering how everything works. And I did write out how I think the different stages kind of relate to the first draft that I currently have written, but I'm not sharing those with you. So that's where I am in my reverse outlining process. I think that the next step is to actually put it into the computer and, you know, have a digital record of where I'm going with this. You would never guess just by looking at it that the apocalypse was basically here like a week ago. I had big plans of doing a whole editing vlog this week, and at least so far today, I have done jack shit. So I am out in my backyard because the weather is really quite lovely right now, and because my dishwasher is running and it's very noisy. And I am going to get some outlining slash editing, reverse outlining. I don't know what you would call it at this point. I'm gonna get some ideas jotted down in my notebook because I had some epiphanies while I was out for my walk about why my character has to do certain things and why it's her that things happen to as opposed to any other person in her town or whatever. So I'm gonna get those ideas out on paper before I forget all of them. Beverage of the day. Delicious, delicious, delicious. Cheers. Well, hopefully I'll actually be able to read that later on. I feel like I understand so much better what I'm actually trying to do with my story and, well, the story that I'm trying to tell. So that's really exciting. I feel like I made good headway, but I'm getting a little chilly. I'm going to go inside and put on some warmer clothes. Back inside and surrounded by Los Gatos. All right, now that I have a much better idea of my character's needs and motivations and all of that stuff, I think now I can do a better job of this actual reverse outline and figuring out where all of the pieces that I have kind of fit into place, and figure out from there what I still need to write. I've just filled a whole second page of character backstories and motivations instead of actually doing the reverse outline. But I think now I might actually be ready to write down like a sequence of events that happens. We'll see. Okay. I just spent, I have no idea how long, I kind of got sucked into the rabbit hole of brainstorming and writing down all of these ideas. I don't know what time I started. I'm not sure what time it is right now, actually. But I filled up like 3 pages of my notebook with events and things that I need to get in the story and places that different things need to go and all of that. So I actually do feel pretty productive after all. Gonna leave more work until tomorrow because I'm feeling pretty exhausted after all of that, actually. I've got a writing live stream queued up, ready to go as soon as it starts in about 30 minutes. And I've got delicious, delicious, spicy vegan stir fry to eat. And then I am ready to go on today's endeavor of editing / beginning draft 2.
And think about our question du jour, which is how do you start a book when it's the very first thing you do? All right, here we go.
I tend to be a bit of a rebel during Lisa's live stream and not actually do any writing or anything during the warm-up sprint she usually does. I think that today, for the first 5 minutes, instead of doing creative stuff, I'm going to read my book because it's what I'm into at the moment. Good stuff. Current status is that I think I have all of my characters sorted out. I think I've figured out which of the characters I'm keeping from the first draft, which characters I'm getting rid of entirely, and which characters I am kind of adapting for draft number 2. I think there's no more putting it off, and I have to actually start getting this in the computer. So I'm going to open up the Scrivener file and find out what I actually have in draft 1. I'm honestly really nervous. I have not actually looked at this since July or whenever it was that I finished the first draft. So it's possible that it is way more of a terrible mess than I am remembering, and I'm really scared. All right. Nothing to it but to do it. I better get on this. Look at all of those scenes I've planned out already, and I'm halfway through. Goodness gracious. This is the most planning I have done. That's craziness. And I still have half of it to plan out. Yikes. I should have been writing. I should have been working on my second draft, or at least finishing my reverse outline. Instead, I really had to make some banana bread. I fully intended to finish the second half of that reverse outline, all of the scene cards in my Scrivener file yesterday, and I hoped to finish off this video and post it yesterday, but I obviously did neither of those things. I did not even open Scrivener. I opened my notebook to look at. I've got cats being naughty. I opened my notebook to kind of vaguely think about what I needed to do, but yeah, did not do any actual work. So I am between lessons right at the moment, so I'm not doing any writing stuff now, but hopefully I can get my stuff together and actually finish the outline and scene cards sometime today, and hopefully post this video sometime today. Still have the towel up to block cold air from coming in through the gap in the door. Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. I know the real reason everyone's here. This is the reason I would be here watching this video. I just took an accidental nap in this exact position on the couch, just like completely conked out, and now 2 hours of my day have disappeared. I feel groggy and terrible. I don't know what happened. Obviously, no editing happened, that's for sure. Oh my god, my voice is like all croaky. I can't get up. Oh my god. So, that's how my big plans have been going. Hopefully, I actually wake up now and can get some stuff done. It's gonna happen any moment now, I'm sure of it. Probably. I managed to get up. I've got some oranges to hopefully refresh me. I'm feeling awake again. This is good. All right. I think I can get something done. Hopefully for real this time. Look at me wearing actual clothes and everything. It's a miracle. So I got myself off the couch. I ate an orange. I had a very noisy cat. I put on clothes, workout clothes, so that I'm ready to do my exercise in a little bit. And now I am ready to, for real this time, actually sit down and get some work done. If a cat doesn't take the spot on my lap before I can put my computer there. No, Elliot. We have here a cat, a very spoilery notebook, and a spoiler-free document. Here I go. So I have here my whole Scrivener file, and all of the scene cards are done, at least for now. I have to admit, I'm a little nervous. My underwriting tendencies are definitely coming out, because in this first half, I've got like 8, 10, multiple scenes, but then as I go down the second half, 6 scenes, 3 scenes, 5 scenes. So my hope is that I actually end up with a book-length book by the time I'm done with the second draft, but I'm a little nervous about it. I guess the only thing to do is start writing and find out. Anyway, that's it for my editing vlog here. I am happy where I made it to, but I obviously still have a lot of work to get done. But yeah, progress. I've got the beginnings, the very beginnings of a second draft. So that's good. I hope that you liked the video, and if you did like the video, please do feel free to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all of those things. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram as Laurel Webb Author. I am Laurel Webb, a writer in progress. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.